Hello, great people. Are you interested in going to the UK for any reason whatsoever? Well, UK Conservative Party leader Kemi Badenoch has vowed to take a tough stance on migration. In this video, I'll be telling you the implication of this for Africans, particularly Nigerians. We'll be delving a bit into the background of Kemi Badenoch and to look at our upbringing and should this kind of policy be coming from her at this present point in time. We'll also be doing what I call a global migration arithmetic, whereby we'll be looking at how Africans migrate and the reason why and what is the impact of this on Nigeria. So we'll be taking a brief tour around the world, and we'll be landing in Nigeria before actually, no, we'll be doing a stopover in Nigeria. I think that's the best way to put it before we land in the UK. So I'll be telling you the implication of all the global migration dynamics at this point in time, the global migration dynamics of the US, the UK, the Canada, and how these have serious fundamental impact on Nigerians. We'll be diving into this and a whole lot more on this episode of Politing with Dr. Omosholadeji. Some of you that are my ardent listeners, you will recall that when it was reported that Kemi Badenoch shunned Nigeria, that she doesn't want to have anything to do with Nigeria, I said it in that particular video, which I'm going to attach to the end of this video. At the end of this video, you will see it. It will pop up as a video choice. Do well to catch up with that particular video where I asserted that Kemi Badenoch must not and dare not try to be pro-African. That for her to be on that seat, she has to be on African as possible. You would understand me well when we do the global migration arithmetic in a moment. But before we do that, let us quickly hear from Kemi Badenoch herself. Let's hear from her what she said about migration. Then we come back to journey together as I have outlined it. Let's watch the video from her. Let's watch it.
We need to talk about immigration. The truth is that for nearly 30 years, mass migration has been far, far too high under all governments, by all parties, and not just here, too high all across the Western world. And it can't continue. We need a new approach. I'm the new leader of the Conservative Party, and we're going to do things differently. I'm saying no more. The system is broken. We can't go on like this, and we need to change.
There you have it. You've heard from Kemi Badenoch herself. Now let us do some what I call global migration calculation. So let us do the arithmetic, take a brief tour around the world and see maybe we can land in Nigeria. Now, of countries that are highly populated, which of highly populated countries in the world like to migrate to the UK as a destination of choice, whether for study or for medical tourism or for any other reason that maybe job, tech, any reason? We'll pick Nigeria, we'll pick India, we'll pick Chinese. There are some other countries that pick UK as destination of choice, but I pick these three countries because they are highly populated. So you would expect that if they like UK as a destination of choice, then their citizens will be more than a country that has just maybe 15 million population, even if the citizens of that country had picked UK as a destination of choice. Now, if you look at it very well, of these countries, which one is likely to breach immigration law? Which one did breach immigration law pass? You and I know. Except we want to deceive ourselves. It is largely Nigerians. The Chinese, the Indians, they don't violate immigration law more than Nigerians. And what is the major immigration law, which is overstay? And in fact, I usually tell my friends that the immigration has just one sin, that there's only one sin, one major sin, if I can use that word, one major sin that you can commit against the immigration of any country, which is overstay. There are so many things you can commit against the police, but immigration is mainly overstay. So when Nigerians go there, because of economic reason, obvious economic reasons, understandable one at that, Nigerians tends to overstay. We call it japa. Now, when we go to the UK, it means that if you look at the British records now, there are a lot of Nigerians that are overstayed. In fact, I know people that they are older than me that went to the UK during the days of what they call Ori Olori, whereby it is easy for somebody to use the identity of another person. Some of you that are watching me, you understand what I'm saying. So, if you look at it, if it is Nigerians that jackpot to the UK the most and are likely not to return back, that means that Nigerians will be the most affected. And the implication is that the policy that will affect those Nigerians is coming from a fellow Nigerian that have had opportunity to migrate to the UK and have made a name for herself, and now she's going to block the entry gate for other Nigerians. Do you get what I'm saying at all? Kemi went to the UK. In fact, I watched a video of her whereby she said while she was coming to the UK, her father gave her £100. That is all he had. That she had to work when she got to the UK to make ends meet because there was nothing for that. She had to work, and to the glory of God, she worked her way to the top. So, in other words, there are other Kemi now that are trying to go to the UK. If the white man had closed the door during the year that Kemi wanted to migrate to the UK, Kemi would not have become what she is in the UK as the Conservative Party leader today. She wouldn't have become that. But the white man, as wicked as we can say they are, based on the history of slave trade, colonialism, gave her the opportunity. Now she has risen to the top and she wants to block the opportunity for others. Now, white man allow you, black woman vow to ban you. In other words, Nigerians in the UK would have been praying that, oh God, if Kemi Badenoch becomes the UK Conservative Party leader, she would remember her roots. She won't do anything that would affect Nigerians because she is a Nigerian. You lie. You lie. And some of you that have listened to my political masterclass before, whereby I was talking about international relations and diplomacy, would understand some of these things that I'm saying a little bit. And I'll give you an example. You see, sometimes they give Africans the opportunity at a strategic time to their own benefit. The white man will give the African person the opportunity just to their own benefit. So that means that you must have gone through a process of what I can call, permit me to use that word, radicalization. You would have had that white domineering mindset. You are African, but the African blood would have been flushed away from you, and you are now thinking at the white, doing things like the white, and advancing the white interest. So if you look at it, an example, when Obama became the president of the United States, people were rejoicing. I could remember in Nigeria at that time, everybody were happy, although I laugh at the hypocrisy of some people, whereby you won't want some certain tribe to govern Nigeria. You won't want Igbos to become the president of Nigeria. But when Obama, who is from Kenya, became the president of the United States, you are rejoicing. That's the high level of hypocrisy that you find amongst Nigerians. And that's very sad. But that's a discourse for another day. When Obama became the president of US, the African continent were very happy that at last that white domination of Africa, exploitation of Africa will be on the decline. But that did not happen. Instead, Obama tried to force the white ideologies on Africa. You remember the same-sex bill. In fact, some people believe that that was what led to the US going against the election of Goodluck Jonathan, because the 14-year imprisonment was enacted into law during the reign of Goodluck Jonathan. So you can imagine that rather than for Obama to be African, he was largely un-African. And the West, the white, were now using our own African brother against we that are Africans. And this is what is happening in the case of Kemi Badenoch now. You can see, because she has to be as un-African as possible for the white that gave her the opportunity to believe in her and to continue believing in her. And that is why when she became the UK Conservative Party leader and Nigeria was trying to clinch, she had to resist Nigeria for her own interest, because failure to do that, the white will begin to look at her that, oh, now it's like you are being African, you are being Pan-African, and that is against their interest. So the white, the past leaders of the UK that are white, that are the white Britons, they didn't limit entry to the UK. Now, Kemi Badenoch is limiting it, despite the fact that our country, Nigeria, our country of origin, Nigeria, is the most traveled to the UK by virtue of colonialism. If you look at the African continent, countries that colonize your country is usually your citizens' destination of choice. In the sense that if you look at France now, some of you that have been to Paris, you will see that most of the people that Ozu around the tourist attraction like the Eiffel Tower and some other tourist attractions, the Sacré-Cœur, that big church, some of the people that Ozu there that are Africans are largely from Francophone countries that France colonized. So because UK colonized Nigeria, it made Nigeria, that age-long interaction that existed between Nigerians and the UK. But now, Kemi is about to put a limitation to that. Now, let us look at the global political migration arithmetics at this point in time and what you should expect, and why 2025 upward may be a very tough year for you in terms of migration. If you have watched this video to this extent, I congratulate you, because this information, you may not be aware of it, but then trust me, it's a very important information for you to know at this point in time. Number one, Kemi Badenoch policy largely aligned with that of Trump, because Trump, as I've said in one of my videos, that Trump operates an ours is ours policy. He believes that the money, the job of Americans should be for Americans, particularly the white Americans. But then, countries like UK, Canada, they operate an ours is yours policy. That means that if you are a foreigner, you can get a job in the UK. If you are not a Briton, you can still buy a house, you can become a citizen. But now, Kemi Badenoch's policy is migrating towards that of Trump of ours is ours policy. So that means that if there is less opportunity for Nigerians to migrate to the UK, and Trump is sworn in as the president in January, which will automatically transmit, based on the un-African policies of Trump, it will automatically transmit to less migration of Nigerians to the United States. Now, Canada, the third destination of choice, has vowed to reduce migration by 25% based on the effect of migration on their infrastructure. So you can see that 2025 upward is going to be a very difficult year, because the UK, it will be limiting migration. So expect some form of subtle travel ban. In other words, that means that they won't announce that they want to ban Nigerian, but they will bring policy that will drastically limit Nigerian. That is more like an indirect travel ban. Expect more visa denials. At the end of the day, expect less opportunities to Nigerians and Africans, despite the fact that our own blood sister, our Yoruba sister, is the one that is the leader of the party in the UK. So if Nigerians don't go to the UK, if they don't go to the US, if there's no opportunity to enter Canada, then you want to ask yourself, where would Nigeria go to? I will just advise Kemi that whatever you do, Nigeria still have their benefit, the benefit that they render to the UK in terms of the UK health sector and the menial jobs in the UK, right, that help Nigerians. And if the door had been closed when she was seeking that opportunity, she won't become what she wants to. She won't become who she is today. I'm not saying don't regulate migration, but regulate it in such a way that you don't close the door that you have walked into for other people. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politing with Dr. Bob Moshola. Dr. Deji is a political scientist with a PhD in political science, and this is where we just relax to analyze politics and happenings in the polity. Do you want to subscribe? Turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos, and of course, I have great, interesting videos coming your way. Till I see you again, of course, you already know that I love you all sincerely.